Here is one tip to hit harder like Alex Pereira or Conor McGregor. It's really the only tip you need because many of the attributes which they have are physical and they're not going to help us hit harder. But technically, this is something they do and something you may want to try. Because it all starts this Monday, if you click the link in the description, there are just a few days remaining before the doors close to get access to my newest course, Strike Ready Takedown. Over the course of the next 5 weeks, you will master the art of sweeps and throws that make you unstoppable in the ring. I will show you how to utilize lightning fast sweeps to leave opponents off balanced, how to develop unshakable defense to stay upright, and powerful throws to control the clinch like a pro. But the doors close for Takedown this Sunday at midnight, so each week we can learn together and you can bring your questions to the live coaching sessions. And of course, if you can't make any of these, everything is recorded so you can learn at your own pace. So make sure to click the link in the description below, secure your spot in Takedown, and I will see you there. I am sure you have noticed that some fighters just have that special touch. When they connect with somebody's head, opponents just fall and fall and fall. Now, there is many things like bone density and how tight they squeeze their fist and so many other little things which I go, okay, I think these are factors which are going to help them get the KO. But things like bone density, you can't go out and get bigger bones. You can't get more dense bones. You can't get a fist that is 50% bigger than your opponent's. These sort of things are set in stone. Those are our genetics. But what you can play around with is what we're going to talk about today, and that is the technique of punches. Now, if you've ever watched Alex Pereira hit pads, and most likely you have, you should notice that technically he does so many things incorrect. For instance, as he throws, his other hand is never tight to his head. It's always down low. That is something which you learn on day one. Protect your head from the other side. Very often when he throws kicks, he doesn't pivot his standing leg and his shoulders don't rotate all the way through. It looks a little bit more choppy when he does it. And it doesn't matter because it works for him. But something that he does and Conor McGregor does, which I was taught in Thailand, which you can try and add in to your own arsenal, assuming you understand the risk, is the follow through of the punch. So if I'm going to hit a pad, or I see somebody high level boxer, as soon as they connect with the pad, they're going hit and pull back. Or they'll hit the shot, they'll come through with a hook, they'll get a little bit through, and then they'll start to rechamber it. It's more like that. What happens when Pereira throws is, number one, this other hand's not up at his head, but I would advise you always keep this other hand up. But I'm just going to drop it so you can see what's happening here. When he hits, he follows through. Now, if you think about how I'm trying to build power, of course, following through is always going to give me more. I'm not worried about that hit and pull situation. But in addition, you're now much more free to follow through with this shoulder. If I do this and I'm trying to work a fast rechamber, it's very difficult to be going kind of like that when I lean that shoulder through. But getting that whole body to rotate and then let my hand drop the power. You can even just see in how much difference there is in Bob moving. I come with my controlled shot, and then I come with the follow through. Now, again, technically, it is not the greatest if you're looking for defense. Defense, you are very open. But there are some people, and I have a student who's actually very similar to Pereira. He doesn't like blocking so much with his hands. He moves more with his head. He'll just rotate, shift, do that kind of stuff, and then let his hands go. But if you're trying to create that extra power, much of it for me is the follow through of the shot, how far you go through, but also how much that body rotates. And when you hit pads, if you're in Thailand, they do not teach you to, I'm just going to go to the shoulder here. They don't teach you to hit and pull straight back. They teach you to hit and drop. So it's kind of something like that. Now, I don't like it again because I feel too exposed on this side, but if you're wanting to play with it, think I hit here and then I start to drop downwards. Boom, down, boom. And that's exactly what they asked me to do time and time again. I kind of made it more like, okay, pull right back, but they really wanted me dropping. And again, just one look at Pereira on pads and you see him initiating that follow through. You see the power that he can create. Now, will this give you 100% more power? 200% more power as you hit pads? No, absolutely not. But can it up your power by 10%, 20%? I really do think so. The downside, of course, is you are going to be so much more exposed. So if you are hoping to try this, what you need to understand is you need to be very mobile with your head. So if I was going to do a hook cross and I had my hands here and I was very tight, I can keep my head completely stationary and just know that I'm protected on both sides. If I'm going to do a hook cross with my hands down in this big follow through, I want to be dropping my head more as I punch. Number one, it's going to help me follow that rotation that I'm using through my shoulders, but number two, it gets my head off the center line. And if I'm throwing those big shots, it's about me dropping that head constantly as opposed to staying completely square. So keep this in mind, play around with it, and maybe it's something which you'll want to add into your arsenal and it will work for you. We have UFC 313 coming up this Saturday, and just such an exciting fight. Pereira, who's been traveling around Australia, and a lot of people worried, is he going to be able to perform at his highest level? But I did a video the other day talking about how he really only trains 2.5 to 3 hours per day now. So if you have your own little team, and you're traveling around the world still doing everything you normally do, I think he'll be fine. However, his opponent should be going through the Ramadan period right now, and did say that, okay, I had to break a little bit of it just during weight cut week in terms of fluid and such, but really he's been putting himself through this very difficult period, trying to make weight, not eating during daylight. I think it's more likely that he is going to have that effect damage him more so than Pereira doing the traveling. But that doesn't tell us who's going to win. I'm so excited for this main event fight, and we'll hopefully be watching and bringing you guys news, telling you what's happened and why it happened. Let's call it there. Thanks for joining, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday in my Strike Ready Takedown course.